It's very exciting. It's and really what's strange, Kennedy, is all of these that we've done in the past. I've been involved in writing the script and doing the run of show, and I've had to do some of that for this one. So it's been kind of like I told everybody yesterday. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone that I'm writing a script that involves me, which is really weird, but it's very exciting. It's a huge honor, and having been here a long time, it's very special. And I'll tell everybody Saturday night, this is the most wonderful honor that I've ever had in my life, and it's very nice. But it's still been a little strange having to write the run of show.
So you're not announcing, I would assume. Who's announcing?
Well, at one point I do a little bit of announcing, but I will be on tape and I'll be introducing the great John Radigan and the great Emily Jones to take over the MC duties for the ceremony. I will do the starting lineups and then introduce John and Emily, and I'll shoot downstairs somewhere.
Chef, congratulations.
Thank you.
Jared.
Hey, Chuck, I'm curious if you could, and I'm sure there are many, but if you could boil it down to one or two highlights, or from your time in this role, whether it was a particular moment on the field or something you got to announce, what would those be?
There are a lot of them. I think the first inaugural class of the Rangers Hall of Fame was pretty special to see that come together. The previous year I worked Kansas City Royals, and while in Kansas City, I thought, I had seen Kansas City's Hall of Fame, and one thing that when I came back to the Rangers, I really wanted a Hall of Fame for Texas Ranger players, and to see that come true in 2003 with that first inaugural class was a special moment. Anytime any Ranger comes through that left field gate, my crew always makes fun of me because I go into those me moments, which is it gets a little dusty in the ballpark. Anytime that we've inducted somebody into the Hall of Fame, it's been a special moment for me because it's just I'm a fan like everybody else, and but that first one was the most special, and it was that first inaugural class was something to see.
I've asked you this before, and I always forget the specific player tied to this, but the Natural is the home run song, or the theme song from the Natural. How did that all come about to where that was going to be an after every home run type thing?
Well, when we traded for Jose Canseco, I had remembered that when Jose was a rookie, they had him on the cover of the Oakland A's Media Guide. The theme for that Oakland A's Media Guide cover was a movie poster theme, and then it had starring as the Natural Jose Canseco. So the first time Jose Canseco hit a home run for the Rangers, I thought, okay, we'll play the theme from the Natural. So that's how that started. And then I had other guys start telling me, hey, can you play that for me? Hey, I want to hear that for me. And that's how it kind of took off that way. And, it really means something, Jared, when I was interviewing Hunter Pence a couple of years ago and for a Junior Rangers program, and Hunter said he felt like this is one of the most special places, or at that time the ballpark was one of the most special places to hit a home run because of the Natural music and the fireworks going off. So that makes you feel like you're doing something right. But it started out with Jose Canseco.
Paul, do you remember one of the players who wanted that for them in addition to Jose Canseco?
Rafael Palmeiro was the first guy after Jose that asked for that. So, and then nobody else really had indicated that's our song or anything, but we've just kept doing it, and it works out pretty good. And it's I was told when I first came here by John's predecessor, Bert Hawkins. He told me that a home run didn't need anything; it stands on its own, my boy. But in this day and age, I don't know if that plays.
Evan.
So do you put lots of really nice things in about yourself in a script?
I've left that up to Kelly Fisher is going to talk about me in her speech. I really wanted to do something a little bit different, and I thought Kelly has been here. She and I have worked together for 20 years, and she's seen a lot of things, and so I thought having a female introduce my segment of the Hall of Fame ceremony was appropriate, and she's a great friend, and she's seen a lot of things happen in my career. So I'm leaving that up to her, Evan, and then John and Emily, I just kind of gave them generic introductions, so they are free to do whatever they want to after that. So.
Yeah, that's a good choice on Kelly, because if you would let somebody like John Blake introduce, he probably doesn't say many nice things about people. Chuck, is it going to sound weird to you to hear not your voice coming through the ballpark?
No, and it probably more of a relief, Evan. I don't think anybody likes to. I've been doing radio and TV and ballpark stuff for all my life, and I never have liked the sound of my voice. I don't know of too many people that like to hear their own voice, and it's going to be very weird to sit there in the ballpark and watch a video of, and I don't know what they're putting together on the videos and things like that, but I'm not a big fan of listening to myself. And I think most people are like that, but there may be some out there. But it's going to be, the whole thing is going to be strange when I come through the left field gate, and I think I'll have my 4 grandsons with me, which it'll be pretty special. But the rest of it, Evan, it's all going to be a little strange. Well, I've got 2 10-year-olds. I got Tripp and Braden, and then the other 2, Knox and Trace. They are 6 years old, and then I've got a 5th one named Easton. He's 2 years old. He will not be making that trip. We'll make sure he's not running all over the field.
So you, in the past, with all the tribute videos, you've either seen them or been involved in their production, correct?
Yes.
And you've not seen anything having to do with yours?
I've not seen anything. I saw part of one, only because one of my friends that I work with in Nashville sent a congratulations video, and I didn't get to see the punchline of it. So, but I haven't seen anything else that they've done.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chuck.
John.
Hey, Chuck, and all the time we've talked about this, and by the way, Emily and I will say nice things about you. We just won't say them as well as you say them. But as all the time we've talked about this, I don't believe that I've forgotten to ask you this. Did you ever think an honor like this was something that could come to a guy, sitting in the PA booth?
No, not at all, because and I don't know how it came together, or how it happened, or whatever. But my goal has always been for a fan to come to the ballpark and not even know I was there, that they had a good time at the game, that we kept them informed, we did our best to entertain them. But when a fan left the ballpark, that I didn't do anything to take away from their memory of a ball game. That is so important to me, because somebody cared when I was a kid and went to a ball game, and I took it upon myself to find out who the public address announcer was at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, because I was a huge fan. But it was always my goal for a fan to leave the ballpark that they enjoyed the game on the field, and everything that we did just added to that experience at the ball game. So no, I never thought that any type of PA guy would ever be recognized in any way.
And also, Chuck, are you going back into the booth after the ceremony to do the rest of the game?
Yes, sir. I've recorded enough I've recorded enough stuff to get us through. Ladies and gentlemen, your Texas Rangers when they take the field. So I've recorded enough to get us to that point, and if I'm not back by then, there's a problem.
Yeah, you're going to have to hustle. All right, Chuck. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Stephen.
Yeah, John just asked one of the questions I was going to ask you about, but how's it going to be going from that ceremony to kind of going back to work and having to kind of do what you do?
Well, I guess the official Texas Rangers answer to that would be it's my job to make sure we get those get the game started on time and get the players up to bat. So, once the ceremony ends, it's back to work. And again, as I've said many times, the most important thing that happens here is what happens on that field for that game. So, once the game starts, it's all business.
Chuck, you just said a minute ago, one of the things you do is to do the best to entertain, do the best to make sure everybody has a great experience. Obviously, throughout the years that you've been, things have changed. I mean, we've gone from the very minimal dot race that you created and things like that. It's become so much more of a show, I guess. I mean, talk about that and how you kind of evolved in all that as well.
Well, the thing, probably the first thing that had that impact was when we put in a video board at Arlington Stadium. It totally changed. Up until that point, we might put howdy and charge and things like that on a black and white matrix scoreboard. But when you added that video board to the ballpark, it suddenly gave people something in the stadium that they could get at home, which is replays. Now, at that particular time when that first one went in, we weren't allowed to show, I tell all the fans, anything that they wanted to see, we weren't allowed to show. And, of course, that's changed a lot, too. But, no, the video boards totally changed the entertainment in the ballpark. And you only limited by your creativity and things that you wanted to do. I mean, all the different dance cams, kiss cams, things like that, the races that we do. But the biggest stars on that video board most of the time are the fans, either dancing or doing something. But again, I've always tried to make sure that the most important thing that happens is the game on the field, not to do anything to take away from the game, because I have a lot of respect for the game, a lot of respect for the players, so that's the most important thing. But those video boards changed the way you entertained at a game.
Obviously, I think it would be special for you to go in with any number of people, but just talk about going in with Adrian and being a part of some of his big moments and being part of the World Series with him and all that.
Well, it's a big old wow, because that's to be associated or linked with him in any type of way is if you're a baseball fan, like I can't remember when I wasn't, and to be linked with a player like that in something like this is it's just unbelievable. There really aren't any words to describe it, and I'll tell Adrian this on Saturday a couple of times, but. To me, he's everything that baseball is all about. A great player, great hitter, great fielder, had a good time when he was playing. And I always told all the fans when I would go out and speak somewhere, I'd say, you got to go get a ticket and watch this guy play, because once you see him, you'll never forget about him. And I think a lot of fans feel that way. And that 3,000 hit, I had told everybody that that was going to happen on the day that Pudge was going into the Hall of Fame, and I was going to stay behind and make sure that happened. And it did. It was a great moment. But there's so many other things, the cycles, the trips to the World Series, the postseason games. But just watching him take batting practice every day. And then the other thing that long before the gates opened, a lot of y'all remember, he used to stand out there and throw blazing fastballs to his son, and his son was making a lot of metal bat dings throughout the ballpark and really driving the ball. But little things like that, and then the other thing that was always interesting was a little game that Adrian and Michael and Kinsler used to play. There used to be a trash can right in front of my PA booth at the ballpark, and they would all try to throw baseballs into that trash can. And then one day, I think it was Adrian that threw one, and I hit it with a bat, and it went back up over the screen. But, again, to be linked and to go in Rangers Hall of Fame with Adrian Beltre is there aren't any words.
Go to Kennedy again.
Okay, so I apologize if everybody knows this story since I'm the only new person here, but how did the dot race go about?
Kennedy, there used to be a writer for the Star-Telegram named Jim Reeves who had seen a race similar to what we had done when I worked for the Nashville Sounds. It was on black and white matrix boards, and two lights would chase each other across that board. And Jim Reeves came back from a game in Oklahoma City, and he said, "Hey, have you seen this dot race thing they do in Oklahoma City?" And I said, "No, but I think we did something like it in Nashville." And he said, "Yeah, the fans go nuts. You ought to come up with something." And so it took me about a month to figure out something that would work on the video board, and we were the first one. We had an original track that you could touch and feel. I mean, it was made out of model railroad grass, and we used cinnamon for the infield dirt. And so we would superimpose these dots over this track under a camera. And Kennedy, I think some of the folks here have heard me say this before, but we would do a different dot race every day. And it was my belief and that a fan pays to get in, he deserves a different dot race every day. I mean, there's a lot of times we could have run dot races over and over and run the same race, but they were all different. Took about an hour and a half a day to put one together back in those prehistoric days. But and then eventually after my wife Star and I had gone to Washington, D.C., and we saw the president's race, I thought, you know what, we need to bring the dots to life. And we brought the dots to life. And originally, when we started with that, there would be a little bit of the video race, and then they would come through the left field gate, and then eventually we just started racing the dots live on the field. And, of course, when the COVID hit, we had to go back to the old prehistoric days of video dots. But that's basically how it started, so I got to tip my cap to Jim Reeves for giving me that idea.
Awesome. And just last thing for me, you announced a lot of baseball games, obviously, a couple World Series, ALCS, and all that jazz. Do you have one baseball game that sticks out to you as maybe your favorite that you've announced?
The game on October 22nd, 2010, and having worked here a long time and invested a lot of time and energy and passion into selling all kinds of things for Rangers baseball, and to eventually win a American League pennant was one of the most special times in my life here, and it always will be, because it was a pretty great night, and all of my confetti from that 2010 game has disappeared. So I keep telling Chris Young and JD that we need some more confetti games. So they better hurry up, because I don't have much hair left, and it's all turning white. So, no, that game to win the American League pennant the first time was the best.
Thanks, Chuck.
Levi.
This is a very small follow-up question, but when those guys were throwing the ball up there and you hit it with a bat, first of all, how long in advance did you plan that? Did you just have a bat up there with you, and what was their response?
I don't remember why I had that bat up there. It might have been a giveaway bat. In fact, I think it was a Nelson Cruz boomstick bat, and I just grabbed the bat and hit it. I wasn't, total disregard for anybody that was around or anything. I didn't know first of all, I didn't think I could hit it. But, and those guys used to hit that trash can regularly, but that was always a little fun.
Just logistically, did you just lean out the window with the bat, or did you get out and walk around?
I think, they had missed the mark on the trash can. So when the ball started coming through the window, I had grabbed the bat, and they had come close before they'd hit the windowsill. So this time I had the bat, and I was ready for one to come through the window, and it did. So.
Fantastic. All right, thanks, man.
Back to Evan.
What was the most challenging name you ever had to announce?
Well, probably Shigetoshi Hasegawa. And the reason why, Evan, is I didn't do my homework. Usually I go up and visit with Eric Nadell or any of the other announcers and find out what the guy's name, how to say the guy's name. That's changed a lot over the years. You know, now they give you these great sheets that sometimes have the correct way to pronounce the name. But I didn't, that particular night, I didn't check with Eric, and, you know, it came out the right way. I don't know if it came out the right way twice in a row, but it came out the first time right. But Shigetoshi Hasegawa is the one that sticks out the most.
And what name in your 30, 40 years here, basically, has been your favorite to announce?
Juan Gonzalez. But the other ones, Evan, and I'll tip my cap to the fans Saturday night. But you know, I'm going to tell the fans that when the way they responded to me with Steve Bushell or Nelson Cruz or Shin-Soo Choo, the way they responded to me is probably the highest compliment a guy like me could receive. For them to respond in that way, better than payday.
All right, thank you, Chuck. Payday the candy. You're talking about Payday the candy bar, right?
Right, yeah.
Yep, always thinking of candy